Hey guys, it's Tuesday today. We're going to go over construction day for Versus, which is base expansion. So you can see that we can earn points by using construction speed ups, increased building power, dispatch UR gold trucks, and one gold secret task, and then recruit survivors. So we'll start with survivors. Typically, you should be doing these towards the end of the day if you can. Then that way you can boost towards the end when they least expect it. But just out of principle and explanation, we'll do it. So we're going to do survivors in here. Obviously, I haven't got that many. I've been using mine as I go recently, but you should be saving all your resources up. So you're just going to open all these. You should be doing it at the end of the day. And each week, so you can see I've actually only got 2 presents. So this is a really bad example of what your base should not look like come to a Tuesday. So once we're done the survivors though, we're just going to do them. And then we can upgrade them. So a little rule is, if they've got keeper in, yeah, if they've got the word keeper in them, do not upgrade them. They're not worth upgrading. Yeah, so I'm not going to upgrade this one because it's a waste of survivor tokens. But we'll do everybody else, okay? Everybody else, but not the keepers. Okay. So yeah, when you come to a Tuesday, you should have all these presents. Ideally as well, out of the principle, we should be doing all these during the arms race for base building and popping them. So we're, completing it and we're also placing well in the arms race. But just for an example again in this video, I'm just going to do it now. Yeah. So I'm just going to pop it. And then you also want to look at your base building. So it's really good to keep things like tanks, anything big like barracks or anything that's really high level for the Tuesday because they give you more building points, your HQ especially. So you can see here I've got a spare one. So I'm already working on these two. So I'm just going to keep building up my aircraft center for now. I haven't got server buffs yet, but I'll give you a brief explanation of them. If you click your profile at the top left and then click on your server number here, in here, this is a presidency. We haven't had our capital yet. Our capital's next week. Once a president is assigned to the server, they can then distribute roles. So each role has slightly different buffs. So on a Tuesday, we want this one, Secretary of Development, which is bottom left. And down here, there'd be an apply button. And then only one person could have the buff active at one time for each role, but there'd be a queue. So once you've clicked apply, it would display up here at the top left when it's active. But if you find your event board, this thing here, and you click on it, you can change it to local time here. And in here, it will display what time the buff is. So the Secretary of Development gives you minus 50% or plus 50% construction speed. So you want the buff active when you start it. Say if I didn't have it, but I've applied for it and I start it now, it won't take effect. It's only when you start a building. So say if I had the buff active now and I started this, it would halve the time. Well, or close, depend on your other buffs, and then you want to start it. So always make sure you've got buffs when you start a new build, okay? To get those speed times down, so you don't have to worry speed up times, and you can grow your base and your tech as quick. There's all different sorts of buffs. We're just covering. You've got Secretary of Science, which is for research, Secretary of Defense, which is for unit. Secretary of Interior is food. So what you want to do is for them, you want these to build up, activate the buff. When the buff's active, you're going to collect them all your resource in the base. This will only work for stuff like this in your base. It won't work for doom elites or anything like that. Only the stuff in your base, okay? But anyway, moving on again. So we want to make sure that we're getting our chests. So I'm going to do to 1 million just as an example here as my target. But obviously I want to make sure I'm hitting 2.3 million today. But I'm just going to do to 1 million. And then I'm going to do the rest of my stuff later on during the arms race. So I can score points for that and get a pretty good reward in there, hopefully. So when I do it, I'm going to work towards my headquarters at the moment. once your headquarters is done, you want to start building your barracks and your tech center to 30, ready for preparation in tier 10s. So you can see here, tech center and level 22 wall. So this has got 1 day left. This has got 8 hours. So I'm going to pop this one because I can make that pop later during the thing and I don't have to waste speed ups. So then we're going to pop it. You know, I'm not at a million yet, so I'm actually going to do this one now as well. So we're just below it. So at this point here, I would make sure that I've got my Secretary of Development buff before I start my headquarters. But we don't actually have that in this server yet. So I'm just going to start this now, the best I can. And then the main things that you want to focus on when you're building, so your mines, you want to get these to 26, but always try and have these about 5 below your headquarter levels. So the ones to 26 should be gold, iron, and food. The other ones like smelters and materials and XP, you want to 24. Okay. So the main primary focus ones you want for your headquarters are always going to be the wall, barracks, one of these 3 centers, whatever your main is, you know, a hospital, and we also need the Alliance hub as well. Okay. You want to try and build them up at the same time. What I suggested, if you've got 4 construction queues, is to have 2 working on your headquarter level ups and the rest working on side things. So like now, I'm just going to build one of these up with one of them spare while the rest is doing it. So that's pretty much to my mill. I will do the rest later on during the arms race for my base building to make sure I score points. When after it's Tuesday, you want to be saving all the presents for when they're completed and not popping them. That's a really important part. Like my base is a prime example today of what it should not look like coming into a Tuesday. But what you can do is, if you're upgrading things like these resources that are slight low time and are not really that many points, and they're still not where they need to be, you can use these during the arms race to get your score points without using speed ups, and just work on different ones at several times. And obviously you can be building these up and then save these for Tuesday. And you can pop these, and then, you know, when it comes to like a Sunday or whatever, or a Saturday, make sure you're not popping these anymore, and then start working them all so you have loads of presents. Your base should look like a Christmas tree in the morning, so it's all ready. But yeah, the only other things we need to do is make sure we're sending gold tasks out only, which you can see I've already done. So you'd refresh. You want to be sending gold tasks out every day, no matter what. They're well worth the upgrades and the points. If you haven't got Mega Refresh yet, I suggest doing all of them gold, but the final one. Roll the final one until it either turns into gold or purple, and then just send it. But you always want to make it. If you have got Mega Refresh, you want to do a manual refresh until there's 4 left that you haven't sent. So a prime example like this, I don't have a Mega Refresh yet, but when there's 4 like this not completed, you would then do the Mega Refresh, because that's the cheapest way to use your the tickets and your diamonds to get the best. And then again, ideally you only want to be sending out gold trucks every day. Try and do 1 truck at a time with your tier 1, so it's less likely to be hit as well throughout it. Obviously, if you get purple trucks with like 2 shards or something, just send it. But ideally, you want gold trucks. Try send gold trucks every single day. After 5 refreshes in a day, it'll always be gold, and after that, it'll always be gold afterwards. It's the same if you ride the train. If you refresh it 5 times, it's always gold afterwards. I think that pretty much covers it. Obviously, on a side note, when it's early in the game, make sure you're trying to complete your Alliance dual tech. You know, I'm working through mine as quick as I can. You want to make sure you get the tier reward boxes unlocked. The first one's easy, the second one's a bit more time. Okay? If you got any questions, just let me know.